Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. Well, feeling a little bit better. This is going to be a shorter video than usual, obviously, because I'm having trouble seeing still, and you're going to understand why in just a minute. Now, I want you guys to take a close look at this photo. I absolutely love it, but there's something about this photo that we're going to be discussing in just a few moments. So let's just jump in with both feet, shall we? Let's go. All right, due to the number of requests, I'm going to tell you what I had done. This is me above. If you take a look at my eyes, you notice that when I smile, they're very puffy. They actually cut off my peripheral vision, which is a problem when you're driving. Most people have fat pads under their eyes that migrate down. Mine went up. And so this all had to be corrected. The fat pads had to be removed, which left huge amounts of extra skin, which then had to be removed. That's what I had done. Here I am, the day of surgery. I was not feeling well, as you could probably tell. It's also bugging me, as you can probably also tell, that they've stitched my eyes half shut, so I'm looking out of slits. I tried to keep everything iced, as they said, and there was going to be bruising. Here I am. Yes, there's lots of bruising and swelling. The stitches come out next Thursday. And I want to thank everybody for the cards and the comments and the calls and the texts and the mails. I love you guys too. So let's go back where we need to go. And the first thing we're going to do is finish up with Charles and Camilla's tour of Canada. Their last day, they left Ottawa and they went to a place called Yellowknife, where they completed up their tour by meeting with Indigenous leaders and community organizers. That is the capital, by the way, of the Northwest Territories. She wore a brooch that was the floral emblem of the Northwest Territories, which I think was a nice little, touch that she did. And I give her kudos for that outfit. It was 1 degree Celsius. That's cold. But she looked fabulous. I think the tour ended on a high note. Good for them. Happy for them. Next up, we have polo again. I'm telling you, that's all Harry does. He never leaves the house except to play polo. So he's playing polo. These photos were taken again by Backgrid, which is the paparazzi for hire. I'm pretty sure this is all going to end up in the Netflix documentary. Everything's going into the Netflix documentary. Yeah. The one thing you don't see at polo are the kids. Now, other people bring their kids, but I guess Harry and Meghan don't want to bring theirs because they're holding everything back, specifically for Netflix. I just don't know what to make of these two at this point. I mean, I agree with what's coming up next. What's their end game? All right, now, next, the Wendy Williams show, which has a guest host, comedian Michael Rappaport. I hope I'm saying that right. And he had a lot to say about Harry and Meghan. Yeah, he's as sick of them as everybody else is. He had a lot to say, so I edited it down to just the highlights. Watch this.
Prince Harry Ballgame, and Meghan Markle are getting a reality TV show. According to Page 6, they let the cameras into their home for a juicy project. Insiders say it may possibly be about their breakdown with the royal family. I hear you guys moaning and groaning, and I feel the exact same way. This show will be a human sleeping pill. You left the royal family to do a reality show, and Harry Markle, they do things their own way, and I'm telling you, my man took her last name. She is driving the ship. Okay, but I just don't understand it. They were doing philanthropy, and now they're doing a reality show. A rumor has it that they might be starting a CBD company. What's the deal? Are you guys doing a deal? Harry Ballgame went from being a real prince to an actual real housewife. You guys said you didn't want attention, you didn't want to be in the limelight, but you're starting a reality TV. This is how you really become royalty in America. Unless the Queen is a part of this, unless the royal family is in there and the Queen is flipping tables, throwing drinks. But Harry, you're no longer a prince, in my opinion, my humble opinion. You've turned into a putz. Let's move on.
And that's why this tweet came out from Wendy Williams about the joke that the guest host said that they're now American royalty over their reality show. So that leaves you with one question. Will anybody actually watch a Harry and Meghan Netflix docuseries? Will anybody really want to tune in? I mean, we know it's predictable. We know what it's going to be. It's going to show them in their philanthropic work. It's following them around New York. It's following them at The Hague. It follows them around. Now there's fights about when it's going to be aired because some people want it aired during the Platinum Jubilee. That wouldn't shock me. Some people want it aired in 2023, and some people want it aired to coincide with the book that's coming out. They're going to turn it into like a 6-part series, so you keep tuning back in and tuning back in. You know, I have to tell you, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think Netflix made a big mistake. If the two of them tried right now to sign a deal with somebody, they would not get even half of what they've already signed for. And this is Netflix just trying to make their money back, but I think they should have cut their losses and run. You know, that's up to them, though. But I do like what Dr. Sage 14 wrote. Here's a couple that sues for stories that hurt their feelings, and they've decided to do a reality show. And this show is going to cause more people to drag them and mock them and make fun of them. Yeah, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, Lord, move on. And we all know that Netflix is very well expecting Harry and Meghan to include the kids because they've quote-unquote hidden the kids for their own privacy. You know those kids are going to be in the docuseries. That's why you didn't see anything about Archie's 3rd birthday. They threw some sort of party, I'm sure, and the pictures and the video are all going to be part of the documentary. Just like supposedly they've already had Lily baptized, those pictures will be in the book. Same thing. And we also know that the two of them are hoping for good publicity by bringing Archie and Lilibet to the Jubilee because they desperately need some good PR because literally nothing really good ever comes out about them, like ever. At least not that I've seen. So they're looking for good PR. And of course, they're also looking to tape for the Netflix special at the same time. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you know. Now, it might be hard for them because we've already discussed the fact that the camera crew is being thrown out of the Jubilee. It's not being allowed. I think they are going to tape. I think they're going to tape at Frogmore, even though it's a Crown property. But that's just my personal opinion. All right. Moving on. Well, the Queen's aides have labeled them as desperate. But, you know, that's not much of a story because we already know they're desperate. Now, we know that they've always tried to make themselves relevant, but it's just now coming out that when the London mayor was in California, they extended an invitation to him to come to their house. I'm pretty sure they were absolutely shocked when he said no. I'm sure that they probably were like, what? He gave the excuse of logistics, you know, it would be too much to get down there. That's not really what happened. I think we all know that. He probably knew the Netflix cameras were going to be there and he wanted no part of it. And he also knew that anything he said to them could end up in, you know, on the news. So yeah, people are steering clear of them. And who wants to go see them? As we've just said, that Prince Harry is constantly running his mouth. The man never shuts up. He spills the beans about everything. You know, can you blame people for wanting to avoid them? All right, this story really got me. A college professor named Dr. Ann Anderson is suing because she lost her accreditation as a result of her remarks concerning Meghan Markle. She has a contract with the Art Society at Exeter University, I guess is the name of it, and she was suspended. And she's been a faculty member there for almost 3 decades. So during a pre-class discussion over Zoom, she called Meghan the dreaded Meghan. Hell, I call her that all the time. But the experienced professor said her words were taken out of context and misunderstood. So a little less than a week after the class, the chief executive sent the professor an odd email, and she notified her of the racial allegations, the suspension of her accreditation, as well as proposed disciplinary inquiry set up for her. And of course, the professor was later found innocent of the racism allegation, but her accreditation was still put on hold by the Art Society for inappropriate comments and behavior. Can you believe that? They accused her of being, again, racism, because she called her the dreaded Meghan Markle. Aish. Apparently, there were 2 people in the class that were the ones that complained, and they were able to see the Zoom class. They were able to watch it, and these 2 people, grilled her on it. Now, here's the interesting part, okay? Her comments about Meghan were made during an online lecture that was called, quote, How We Got IKEA, Scandinavian Designs of 1880 to 1960. And throughout the lecture, members discussed Meghan and Harry as it came days after their interview with Oprah Winfrey. Right? Miss Anderson said, quote, "Oh dear, you couldn't turn on the television on someone without some person of a colorful disposition having a moan about something." Yeah. And 2 complaints were made and 1 attendee left the lecture. That's it. That's what she said that was so bad, that you can't turn on the TV without somebody moaning about somebody. That's absolutely true. Now, the Art Society came out and said a serious complaint of racism was made. Now, remember, she's already been cleared of racism. She's already been cleared of that. So a subsequent review that was carried out by board members who were not involved with the Art Society at the time looked into the way they handled the matter and said it was proper. It was not proper. She's suing. She's going to make a fortune. Good for her. All right, this next thing was reported by Ellie Hall. You guys know how I feel about Ellie Hall, but in this particular instance, she took her information directly from law online. So in this case, I'm going to let it slide. Apparently, according to Ellie Hall, the lawyers that are representing Meghan and the lawyers that represent Samantha Markle had a telephone call to discuss the defamation lawsuit and Meghan's recent request to dismiss the case. And of course, the parties did not resolve anything. So according to Florida law, when motions are filed in civil proceedings, both sides have to have mediation. You have to meet. But when Meghan's lawyers filed the motion to dismiss, Samantha's legal team was in flux. Remember, she got rid of one attorney and got another attorney. Florida does this to save the court's time by having them meet ahead of time and try to, hammer things out of court. That way, if they both agree, then the judge can just approve it and it moves on. But nothing like that happened. And by the way, don't forget that Samantha's new attorneys are from the Tickton law firm, and that's the firm that's currently representing Donald Trump. I hope this goes all the way to court. I'm dying for this. All right, moving on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is just going to be a weird little thing at the end here. Everybody was talking about the picture of Tom Cruise next to Kate Middleton. Everybody's like, why? What's so odd? Well, here's the thing. Most of you may not know this. Tom Cruise is known to be 5'7". And when he's standing next to Catherine, he looks like he's almost her height. But keep in mind, she's also wearing heels. And everybody's like, well, how did this happen? Well, it happened just like when Harry was at the statue unveiling with William, and he was the same height as William, even though he's not, because Harry put lifts in his shoes. That, my friends, is what Tom did here as well. Now, you can't really blame him, because if he hadn't put lifts in his shoes, he would have looked like a midget next to Catherine with her high heels and William, who's towering over 6 feet tall. Yeah. Anyway, I loved all of their outfits, and I've come to a new respect for Tom Cruise. So, I want your comments. My eyes are clearing a little bit. I'm able to see most of them. It's a little hard, but, vision is not exactly what it should be, but, I'm getting there. I would like to know what you think about what was said on the Wendy Williams show. And I really want to know what you think about the fact that they tried to invite the mayor of London over to their house while he happened to be in California. And I want to know what you guys think about what happened to the college professor who was placed on leave because she called Meghan Markle the dreaded Meghan Markle just a few days after the Oprah interview. Hell, I was calling her worse than that. A few days after the Oprah interview. Yeah. How many people were in the class? Because I guarantee you the 2 people that complained were probably African-American students. Yeah. All right, so don't forget to leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell. Make sure you're still subscribed. I'm still getting emails from people telling me that even though they're hitting the button, I'm being unsubscribed from them. So just keep going back and looking, okay? Just double check on it. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Getter. You can follow me on Rumble. You can email me. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.